It began in silence, not the calm, sacred silence of peace, but the hollow quiet that follows slaughter. The Karth Dominion called it a necessary correction. Humanity called it massacre. On the rim world of Thessia Prime, a young, flourishing human colony, the skies had burned violet and gold as the Karth fleet descended without warning. Their ships were shaped like blades, sleek and predatory, their hulls glimmering with the arrogance of a species that had never known fear. The colony had no weapons to match them. Farmers, engineers, children, they watched from glass domes as the Karth demonstration strike began. The Dominion claimed Thessia had illegally expanded into their claimed sector. They sent no warning, no demand. Only fire, orbit-to-surface plasma cannons lit the night like a mockery of sunrise. The oceans boiled, towers melted. The screams went unheard in the void. In the Karth flagship Vatron, High Commander Velk turned from the holodisplay as the last life signs on Thessia faded. His subordinates applauded, tails flicking in satisfaction. "A clean culling," Velk said, voice dripping with smug pride. "Humanity expands too freely. Now they'll learn restraint." "And Earth?" asked one of his officers, half laughing. "Will they bark or bite?" Velk smiled, sharp teeth catching the light. "They'll send words. Always words. They think silence brings strength. They mistake fear for patience." He raised his glass of nebula wine. "To the quiet ones of Earth, may they remain quiet forever." The fleet cheered, toasting genocide, and somewhere, in the cold dark between stars, Earth heard the mockery. The quiet species. The news spread fast through the Orion Arm. Every transmission channel carried the images, the burning colony, the Karth banners fluttering over fields of ash, and the Dominion's declaration. "Let all who trespass learn. The Dominion speaks once. Obedience or obliteration." The Galactic Council did nothing. The lesser species whispered and looked away. And humanity said nothing. No fleets launched. No condemnations filled the void. Earth's ambassador to the Council appeared once, face unreadable, voice level. "The United Terran Directorate will require time to assess the incident." Then, nothing. For weeks, then months, the silence deepened. The Karth media mocked it endlessly. Hollow pundits laughed over human news broadcasts, splicing images of Thessia's ruins with the Earth flag and captions reading, "The Cowards of Sol." In Karth academies, students studied the event as proof of Dominion superiority. "See how the primitives retreat behind silence," their tutors would sneer. "Their hearts are soft, their vengeance mythical." And Velk, now promoted to Supreme Executor, made sure to broadcast his speeches to human channels. "Let this be your education. Terrans," he said, voice carried across the stars, "you mistake your quiet for dignity. We hear it as surrender." The galaxy listened, and many believed him the stillness. Earth waits. But Earth's silence was not surrender. In the deep halls beneath Luna Command, 1,000 eyes watched the footage of Thessia Prime, every fire, every shadow. No one spoke. The air was thick with what was not said. On the orbital yards of Mars, shipwrights worked double shifts, their orders sealed under Omega clearance. On Titan, the antimatter forges glowed hotter than they had in decades. Entire research colonies went dark. Communications blacked out under the Defense Protocol. Fleet registries began to vanish from public databases. Civilians whispered about ghost ships seen leaving the Sol perimeter. And still, Earth said nothing. The silence spread, an absence that grew heavy across every colony, every outpost. Trade fleets that once filled the void slowed to a crawl. Comms chatter died. To outsiders, it looked like paralysis. To those who knew, it was preparation. A proverb resurfaced among Terran soldiers. "We are quiet when we count the names." And on the hidden walls of Fleet Command, those names were carved. The entire population of Thessia Prime. 1,732,429 souls. Each name a vow. The trembling. The stars hold their breath. 6 standard months after Thessia's fall, the Karth Dominion celebrated its day of conquest. A galaxy-wide broadcast of its strength. Fleets paraded before their twin suns. Grand markets overflowed. Velk himself delivered a speech to billions. He laughed on the podium. "Where is Earth? Where is the mighty Terran wrath?" Still counting, perhaps. Laughter thundered across the capital. But then, for the first time in history, every galactic transmission feed blinked. Static washed the screens. The laughter faltered. Then came a single human voice, calm and cold. Transmission begins. The image shifted. Earth's flag, the old blue and green sphere, now ringed with steel, filled the view. The voice continued. This is Admiral Catherine Holt, United Terran Directorate. The Dominion of Karth stands guilty of genocide. The names of Thessia Prime are known. Sentence, retaliation. And then the transmission ended. No threats. No countdown. Just silence again. The Karth networks erupted in mockery. Analysts laughed. Retaliation? They sneered. From whom? But their laughter faded when every sensor in the rim's sectors began to register movement. Not fleets. Armadas. Whole systems darkened under the signatures of Terran warships. Communications relays went silent as encrypted Terran beacons flooded the channels. In the void between stars, something vast and wordless was waking. The storm breaks when silence speaks. The first system to fall was Valiar, a fortified Karth bastion with planetary shields and a triad fleet defense grid. They never saw the enemy. At 0300 local time, their stars dimmed. The sky above the capital shimmered, and from that shimmer emerged the black geometry of Terran dreadnoughts. No comms, no warnings. Only the deep hum of gravity drives and the whisper of their activation tones. Each ship was a cathedral of war, armor plated with neutron-forged titanium, weapons arrays glowing faint blue. They didn't broadcast threats. They simply began. The first strike turned the defense grid into molten dust. The second shattered the planet's shields. The third left Valiar a cratered husk. The Terran fleet left as quietly as it arrived. No looting, no messages, only silence. And the drifting debris of the Dominion's pride. Within days, 6 more systems went dark. Karth admirals scrambled to respond, but their fleets vanished into sensor ghosts. Every time they regrouped, Terran ships struck from behind the veil, their stealth tech decades beyond comprehension. The Dominion had once mocked Earth's stillness. Now it realized that silence was not weakness, it was stealth. The galaxy watched in horror as an invisible arm of vengeance swept through Karth space. Planet by planet, station by station, every world that had cheered Thessia's destruction met the same fate. A Karth senator wept during a live broadcast. They do not speak. They do not answer. We beg for parley, and they give only death. And still, the Terrans said nothing. The reckoning. The night of 3 suns. In desperation, Supreme Executor Velk rallied what remained of his fleet, 2,000 warships, gathered around the Dominion's twin suns and their homeworld, Koresh. This is our stand, he roared. Let the humans come! We will show them who commands the stars. He did not have to wait long. Sensors flared. Hundreds of Terran dreadnoughts emerged from warp. Then thousands. They blotted out the light of the suns. Their formation was perfect, unbroken, an iron wall stretching across the void. Velk's last words to his officers were almost a whisper. Impossible. Then the storm began. Karth weapons fired, beams, torpedoes, gravitic shells, but they vanished against shimmering shields. The Terrans responded with precision, their rail cannons tearing through cruisers like paper. Orbital bombardments fell in silent arcs of plasma. Entire moons cracked. Koresh's oceans evaporated. Its cities vaporized in pulses of white light. And through it all, no Terran comms, no declarations, only the cold execution of justice. The final moment came when the Terran flagship Erebus fired its spinal weapon, a lance of energy that pierced both of Koresh's suns. For 9 minutes, the galaxy watched as those twin stars collapsed, merging into a blinding singularity that devoured the Dominion's heart world and every ship in orbit. The event became known as the Night of 3 Suns, because when the light faded, only the Terran fleet remained, their engines glowing like 3 unblinking eyes in the void. Then, they were gone. The aftermath. The cost of mocking silence. Weeks later, an automated beacon arrived at the Galactic Council. It was simple, a small Terran drone carrying a message. When activated, it projected the image of Admiral Holt. Her eyes were calm. The United Terran Directorate acknowledges the dissolution of the Karth Dominion. Let this record stand. Humanity does not seek conquest. We seek remembrance. To those who harm us or ours, understand this. Our silence is not fear. Our silence is warning. The message ended. The beacon self-destructed. Across the galaxy, no one dared respond. In time, traders whispered of seeing Terran ships moving through deep space, always silent, always watching. Border powers withdrew their fleets from Terran borders. Treaties were signed without debate. Even pirates avoided human lanes. And on the ruins of Thessia Prime, human engineers returned. They rebuilt the colony from ash, every building carved with the words, "They thought our silence weak, but silence was storm." The legacy, whispers in the dark. Centuries later, the story of the Dominion's fall became legend. Children on alien worlds whispered it in fear. "Don't wake the quiet ones." Diplomats spoke gently when addressing Earth envoys. Armadas rerouted their patrols around Terran space, as if the stars themselves remembered. And deep in the halls of Luna Command, the walls still bore the names of Thessia Prime, glowing softly, endlessly remembered. For humanity had learned something ancient, something terrible and divine. Patience is not peace. Silence is not surrender. And when Earth's quiet finally breaks, it is not the sound of words. It is the sound of worlds ending.